Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're gonna be discussing about the topic, what it means by the word UAE experience or Dubai experience. Oftentimes we've heard that word from people, most especially when you go for an interview. They will ask you, "Do you have any UAE experience?" And sometimes it feels frustrated, when they will ask a fresher that question. So, what will be your response to this question? Do you have any UAE experience? So, guys, now, for instance, you've been working as a web designer or perhaps a sales, or any kind of job back in your home country and having 5 years or more experience in your home country, not in UAE, but you have worked on many projects that came from UAE. And suddenly you want to explore more and come to UAE to find a job. You apply for a certain job and get a call for the interview. They go through your resume, your CV, and know that you worked on projects who are from UAE, that came from UAE. The interviewer now asks you the above question. Do you have UAE experience? Like, seriously? So it happens oftentimes. But today, I'm going to be telling you guys that UAE experience, when they will ask you that question, don't really feel bad because, it's really so important for you to have UAE experience. And as well as, although we know that freshers doesn't have UAE experience, so they need, the opportunity or the room to learn, to know the business or to know, what, like to learn the business. Yeah. So they can't just fly from nowhere and learn the business or to learn the trade. So you have to give them the opportunity, as in for them to start from somewhere. We know that. But most times, why most companies insist on UAE experience matters a lot. It's number one. Can you be able to cope under pressure? Can you be able to work under pressure? Can you be able to ignore racism, discriminations from customers, from your colleagues and all that? Can you be able to do that? Like, for instance, a couple of years back when I was with my former company, Crocs, that's in Abu Dhabi. That was in Abu Dhabi. So a customer came in that very early in the morning. It's an Egyptian or so. So he came in so mad, like, as if he has issue with his wife at home. You understand? You know what I mean? So the man now came. Actually, he made order with my colleague who wasn't on duty that day. So, but he came, he put on the whole frustration on me as if I was the cause of his problems. No, but because of this particular word, UAE experience to deal under pressure. So the man now started, shouting at me that I should provide the item, this and that. He made order yesterday. He paid already, so why delaying this and that? I was like, sir, can you please take it easy with me? I will get your need, but just give me time to think about, what to do next. The man keep on shouting, lamenting, but at the end, he's a customer, so and he's right to do whatsoever he desired. But some freshers doesn't really understand that word, that customers are always right. Some people will feel like, no, this man is not up to my match, up to my, of my standard, of my level of education. So why is he shouting at me? But once you have that UAE experience, you will know the fact that as long as you are in this country, customers are always right. You should treat them very well, regardless. So what I did was, I keep on, begging him to calm down. He keep on shouting to the extent that this man actually called me a black guy. I'm not joking, guys. He called me a black guy. So what did I do? I didn't do nothing. But some freshers that just came in, they'll be like, did you just call me a black guy? You called me a nigger? You called me this? Yeah, that kind of thing. And issue will start from there. Drama we rise from there and people will start coming to look what's happening. But at the end, this man is a customer. So you get the point now about UAE experience. This is number one. So, about dealing under pressure, I've said about it already. So now, it matters. It applies a whole lot of things. It applies even the weather condition of this country. Yes. So, because it's only people that has UAE experience can deal with the weather condition of this country, guys. It's no joke. I'm not exaggerating. The weather condition of this country, most times it's horrible, most times it's amazing. So now during the horrible moment, Can you be able to deal with the pressure, with the weather condition? It matters, so yes, it does. So those are the things that applies under that word UAE experience. It's not about the flashy things about about Dubai, UAE, and all that. Can you be able to deal with the pressure that is behind the closed doors? Yeah. To work under pressure, to work for 12 hours if it matters. Some people, they will sign contracts of just 9 hours, but at the end, they will end up working for 12 hours. But UAE experience will taught you that 9 hours, then 10, 11, 12, that 3 hours on top, it's an overtime, and you must do it. It's a must to. But a fresher will be like, no, I didn't sign for this, and I cannot do it. Do you see my point now? You get the point now. So it matters a whole lot. It matters. Yes. So now someone from Africa, she says, I have no physical experience working in UAE since I believe there exist labor laws governing working which differ in different countries, which is true. However, I have worked on many projects that came from UAE. According to my own understanding, experience in UAE simply means if I'm familiar with the UAE labor laws. And it's true. Yes, I'm trying to shed more light on what our sister said here, and it's practically truth. You know, the labor laws, as well, just like I mentioned before, 12 hours. It's mandatory in most companies for you to work for 10 hours, 9 hours, 12 hours. But a fresher, some freshers will be like, I cannot work for this hour. I didn't sign for this, that. You understand? Yeah. So those things matters a lot, guys. So that's why they insist on you having UAE experience. So you see why that word UAE experience. Yeah. So because it's very, very important, guys. It's not about and not only that. Just like I mentioned earlier, the UAE the discrimination or perhaps sometimes envy among the colleagues. Yes, I experienced those things when I was starting up my former companies. Yeah, I experienced this. Even when I was a security guard back then, 2012. Can you imagine that situation that my colleagues then put me into, made me to learn how to speak Hindi, to learn how to speak Indian language? Yeah, because all my colleagues, they speak their language, which is Hindi. People from Nepali, from Pakistani, from India, they speak one language, Hindi. So imagine. And they used to talk, about me with the language. So I have to learn so we know what is going on. So, but a new guy might not be able to calm down to learn, calm down to gain those guys. He will be like, no, I cannot do this anymore. They are laughing at me because I'm a black guy, because I'm an African. So, having said that, UAE experience also applies some fine qualities, which is patience. Lot of it, as in patience, endurance, perseverance. Those things also applies on this UAE experience, because like I said before, UAE experience, oh my goodness me, UAE experience applies a lot of things, a whole lot of things, guys, even which I can't even remember some of them, like not even some, most of them. Yeah. Haven't I said about the weather condition? Yeah. As well as the accommodation, because in most cases, where some company can put their staffs, the accommodation. Oh my goodness, guys! Most of those company accommodation is horrible. Like the one I was before, my former company when I was a security guard. Yes, there was at Singapore in Arcusate. It was so horrible, so smelly. Bed bugs was bed bug chinch go kill you there. Chinch, now chinch go finish your life with that too. But because of the UAE experience of the guys, it matters though, because you can never tell, you can never tell, like the ones back home that are planning to come over, which is nice one, it's really a nice one, but also you need to to know those practical things, like I'm saying them now. Yeah, the living condition, the location which company we might put you into as your accommodation, and as well as your workplace. Yeah, the kind of people that you meet there. So it does matter. It all applies on this UAE experience. I can vividly recall back when I was starting my first day on duty as a security guard. That was no, that was November 25th or so, 2012. So I was just standing waiting for customers to come. So, like, because I was a security guard, so it's mainly, it's more like a customer service job. So I was just there standing waiting for, people to give direction and all that. So one old lady, granny, she's from UK, she's a British. So she just walked towards me and she was like, hi, sir, where can I find poor restaurant? Poor, as in the way she mentioned that word, as in, my goodness, guys, to be honest with you, that statement took me many years to understand what she was actually saying. And she got mad because I didn't understand what she was saying. She was like, where can I find poor restaurant? Poor restaurant. I didn't know she was actually saying Paul restaurant. I thought she was saying, she was saying pool, which is Pool, pool, which is swimming pool. That's what I thought. So you see what I'm saying, guys? Those are the things that applies on this UAE experience. It might sound funny to you, maybe this and that, but guys, see, this country has more than 130 different nationalities here. I'm not joking. So you will meet a whole lot of them. Like mainly if you're working in the mall, like Dubai Mall, those busy malls and all that. Yeah. So I found it so difficult that day to understand what she was actually trying to say. Poor restaurant. Where can I find poor restaurant? It was my colleague that came to rescue me that day. So, but at the end, I was trying to, to the extent that I even go to YouTube and all that, start watching, British accent, just to, because that Mercato, it's a center of Europeans and British. Yeah, with a lot of locals and all that. Yeah. So for you to understand what I'm saying about the power of this word, UAE experience, guys, it took me years. Yeah. So that is it. You understand? Nevertheless, everybody got to start from somewhere, which every one of us knows about that. So if you have not worked here before, push your knowledge, guys, skills, eagerness, resilience, and as well as adaptability, and make sure you've done some research as well. Yeah, you understand? It's not just for you to relax and be like, yeah, maybe you were kind of fortunate to get a job and you'll be like, UAE experience doesn't exist, guys. Yeah, don't bother for that. Yeah, this and that. Yeah, okay. It matters in many companies. It does matter. Just that you are fortunate to get a job without being asked that question or without being denied the offer because you don't have that experience doesn't mean that those things doesn't exist. It does exist, guys. So that's why I'm trying to, let you guys know that those things happen here. So prior to your coming over or your arrival over here, you should make research to know some couple of things you should know. Yeah, dig deep to know those things yourself, guys. So that is it. And I believe you guys would understand one or two things from my long speech sermon today, guys. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna end it here, guys, today. Thank you very much for always being there for me. Thank you for the subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please kindly subscribe to this channel for more, to encourage me to do more, guys. And that is it. And do have a lovely day, guys.